know, Vince Lombardi won 5 championships without ever using sarcasm. He just yelled and shoved people.
So, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Waking
Up with Alice.
Waking Up with a Hangover. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Breaking Down the Game, Episode 9. No moral victories anymore. I'm sick of them, Miles. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Pretty good, actually. Happy Halloween to you.
Happy Halloween to you as well.
Yeah,
likewise.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hey, trick-or-treaters, come in.
Hi.
Say hi.
I'm dressed up like a white trash. I don't know. What should I say?
Hole?
White trash hole.
That's my wife. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So, yeah, we want to break down the game this week. And never a dull moment in our household, I'll tell you, buddy.
No worries. No worries.
So I want to make sure that everyone, please like, comment, and subscribe. Engage with us. We enjoy this. So let's get to it, Isles. Let's just try to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a tough 4 weeks. So, the Packers are really fuckulated.
They are.
And
fuckulated on many levels right now.
By that, I mean their backs are truly against the wall right now. I think we talked about with KH, who is our special guest for this podcast. You'll see him later in the podcast. Links to his part of the podcast will be down below in the description. So we were talking to KH and we were saying, we probably have 2 more losses to give away for the season, and the rest of the season we got to just win out.
I would agree. I think we're just fuckulated on so many levels, right? I mean, injury bug a little bit all over the place, whether they're on the field or not. There's something nagging going on. The receiver debacle the whole year, feels like we even had a core of guys in there for a stretch of 4 games. It's like we're patching in whoever's healthy that week, and some guys are young, some guys are injured, some guys are out. So you're never getting a rhythm there. The offensive line has been more of a mess than it has been in years past.
Yes.
There's a big, giant, gaping hole in the middle of the field when our defense plays that just is like this free drop zone to get 7 yards every single time. Our tackling sucks. I feel like we literally can't leave the ground. It's just like big arm tackles no matter where we are. And we just kind of, all 10 guys are on him. Or 11 guys with their arms, and he still gets 7 yards on a simple run up the middle.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, and I think they're kind of coached that way. And the only thing I noticed is that when they make these tackles, and they make these tackles that are seemingly high up, it seems like they're always trying to strip the ball. So it almost seems like they're being coached to swipe at the ball and strip the ball rather than get the motherfucking down on the ground, right?
I would agree. So, who was their defensive coordinator when they were really taught to try to pound on the ball all the time? It was,
I vaguely remember what you're talking about, but it
was before Capers, right? Who was the guy before Capers? I can't remember.
Dude, I'm an old man.
Yeah, me too.
Late at night.
There's only dust in here and a question mark, so don't feel bad. Whoever that guy was.
That guy who was always telling that they should bounce, they should hit the ball.
Yeah. Don't worry about tackling them. You just get behind them and try to pound the ball out of there, and we'll get ourselves a turnover. Doesn't matter if we lose by 50. I want 5 turnovers.
Yeah, Stevie, don't worry about that. You just hit the ball. Just don't worry about tackling. We'll get them on the ground. Just get the ball out.
Best Wisconsin accent ever.
That's Wisconsin for you, especially in the rural areas.
Yep.
And when I get tired, it really comes out. I don't know about you, Isles.
I love it. Yeah. Sweetie, give me a beer.
Give me a beer, Harris. We're going to drink some beers. We're going to go out and drink some beers. So, I think this segment is all fuckulated and the Packers are all fuckulated.
I agree.
I don't think we need to linger too much on the Bills game. We're going to talk to KH later about sharpening the knife, so we'll skip that for now.
Perfect.
So, Isles, you had something you want to present me
I got a
or
little
talk
game.
to me about. A little game.
You're always kind of leading the show, so I tried to like put together a list, and I thought it would be fun as kind of a rapid fire. Don't think word association.
Okay.
So I've written down a list of random words, and I just want you to, as quickly as you can, it doesn't have to be super fast, but fast, say the first word that comes to your head.
Okay.
I don't know if in your cool post editing, maybe you throw on a little Jeopardy music or something. I don't know what you want to do, but you're ready to play. I say a word, you just first thing that kind of comes to your head, you say it.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Rim job.
All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Was I supposed to say something to that? Now?
That was my word. I thought we started.
I know. My word was now. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go.
All right.
Rogers.
Punk.
Soft zone.
Soft ice cream.
Season.
Potatoes.
What? What? Season potatoes? What? I was thinking about the Packers season, and that's why it's like when you said potatoes, I was like, what?
Let's start this. We'll start it over.
Okay. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Rogers.
Stoned.
Soft zone.
Soft.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard zone.
That's a hard zone, soft stool.
Yep. Season.
Down the tubes.
That wasn't one word, but Watson.
Does it have to be one word?
No, Watson.
Why is this so freaking hard, dude?
It's all right. I'll go to the next one. Rub.
Rub.
Yeah. RPO.
Mess.
Easy.
Hard.
Vomit.
Well, it's hard.
Very good. Record.
Breaking.
Quay.
Way.
Rub.
Rub.
Defense.
Bad.
Markle.
Chester.
Gang.
Green.
Knife.
Sharpen.
Belly.
Rub.
Moist. Oh my God, that was genius.
Okay.
Moist.
You know, moist caves.
Defense.
Poor.
Lambo. I just thought it was fun. Yeah, glory or yeah.
Glory. Hole.
Infante. Well, hey, we gave it a run. I don't know how many words there were. Something to that effect.
Was that just a terrible mess?
No, I thought it was. No.
It's just silly. All right.
It wasn't from me anyway. Like I was laughing the whole time. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's just later in the day, and I don't know, when you're an old man like me, you start to get real tired at the end of the day, and you're not always thinking straight. So, I appreciate that. That was fun, and hopefully a few laughs for our viewers.
Yep.
But Isles, I don't really want to talk much more about the Packers right now. I think we're going to bring in our boy KH, and hey. He'll set us straight on some of the Packer stuff. So thanks everyone for watching again. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Isles, anything you want to say before we talk to KH?
No.
No.
No. Go Pack. justify my outfit first because it's Halloween and my kids were pissed that I didn't dress up. And my one kid worked at Cup and Cone where they serve ice cream. So he's like, be a guy who works at Cup and Cone.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds like a porn.
It is. It is.
I'm a Packers fan for Halloween today.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I'm always that.
Yeah, I'm just an angry middle-aged father.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Breaking Down the Game. Isles and I have a very special guest, KHTV from the Pack Attack.
What's up?
The guy with the best intros to all his videos. So, KH, tell me, do you plan those entrances out? Because I love how you're revealed through smoke, or you'll come into the screen 5 seconds later.
Sometimes they be planned out. Majority of the time, it just pops in my head on the fly. I'll be like, oh, that'll sound like something good to start it off with. Just like with the intro of my last video with the Vince Lombardi, what the hell is going on out there? Because that's exactly what I said after the game we lost. I was like, what the hell is going on out there on the field?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that might be a good way to start the video off.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us are saying that lately. Go ahead, Isles.
I was just gonna say, I think another thing I noticed from some of your videos is like there's like a Quentin Tarantino like film perspective. Like it's as if like the ashtray is like down in the corner or something. The smoke is just rivaling up, and your face is like up here. It's like such a cool perspective.
Yeah,
Love it. Yeah.
Oh well, that's not planned.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, you're just too modest. I think you're a budding film auteur.
I'll try, man. I'm trying.
No, but no, we certainly all enjoy your videos, and I love your takes. I especially love when you get really fired up about something. That's I always get a kick out of that because you always have funny things to say and insightful things. So to kick this off, I wanted to start with a question that I think is on a lot of our minds. Matt LaFleur wants the Green Bay Packers to be a player-run team. So I wanted to ask you, Cage, tell me, who do you think the leaders are now with the Packers, both on offense and defense?
Offensively, I'm going to have to go with Aaron Jones because he's been the one that's had the most positive production on the field every game. You know what I mean? It's never, you don't ever see him not doing his job. You know what I mean? On defense, I'm torn between Jair Alexander and Rasul Douglas because they come out to play every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They out there fighting every quarter of the game. They stand in tuned into the game. You know what I mean? You don't never really see them slacking when, it seems like all hope is lost and we're not going to win the game. They still out there giving 100%. So
what do you think makes a good leader besides just production on the field?
Being that voice in the locker room, being that voice on the sideline at the games, being that voice in the huddle. You know what I'm saying? Staying interactive with the coaching staff during the game. Just trying to pick their brain to see where they could, change things around on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? So, like, just being that guy that gives a good speech, sometimes it's not enough. It's all about having an attitude out there. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing, even though he's not having the greatest season right now, Russell Wilson.
His name's Mr. Unlimited. You gotta be unlimited.
I love this. I love him interacting with his guys on the sideline, keeping their, spirits up, giving them that confidence that we could still go out there and win this game. I think that has a lot to tie into instead of just, we got to go out there, we got to play hard, We got to play together. Packers on 3. 1, 2, 3, Packers.
Yeah. One of the greatest leaders, I think, in the Packers team ever was probably Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being an all-around example through practice, games, you know what I'm saying, meetings, you know what I'm saying, just being that guy that's always constantly thinking we got to win. The winner attitude.
I think a lot of the players do get tired. These guys are professionals, and they probably get tired of the rah-rah attitude. You know, they are grown men, and they don't need to be rah-rah'd up, right?
Right.
So you mentioned Russell Wilson. So in your mind, what is your opinion on Aaron Rodgers as a leader? You know, he is the oldest guy on the squad, him and Crosby. Therefore, he should be the de facto leader. But what do you think of him as a leader?
I think he's a great leader. I just think his tactics might be a little awkward for some players.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think. I think he's always in the right mindset and right direction of leadership. I just think it comes off a little awkward, to some players. Like just being in the locker room, just seeing him talking to the reporters in the locker room, I would feel kind of awkward with it, how he might lead the team.
Yeah.
Seems like that is an unconventional means of trying to lead or inspire people.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like he's not man enough to just go in there and do it behind closed doors or whatever. He's always seems to be using the media a little bit as his kind of conduit into the locker room to some degree, whether it's the message, the RELAX, relax. Right. He's like always trying to use that to some degree. And maybe he does a bunch of stuff behind closed doors too. Only thing is, like, the way he's been dressing when he shows up to games has been getting progressively weirder. Has it not, though? You know what I'm saying? He looks like a little genie guy who jumped out of the bottle with those big puffy ass pants, It's like, stay away from my kids. You know what I mean?
I didn't see that. Did you, KH?
Yeah.
What do you think of Aaron Rodgers and he's somewhat of a flower child, or at least that's the way he comes across lately. What do you think of that?
Just to go back on his leadership and the way he puts it out in the media. I'm sure that he's talking to these players one-on-one and letting them know what he likes out of the production that they give him at the receiver position. But I just think that when he does it in the media, he's kind of trying to make a point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think he just wants to shout that out there to get their antennas up to playing better football. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think he's intentionally trying to call people out. I think he's calling the whole receiving core group out as a whole so that they can be on track when they go out in these games. And it hasn't translated that way so far.
Sure.
Which goes back to, I think he's kind of awkward with how he, tries to, get guys engaged and into how he thinks about the team. But as far as like everything else that he's doing, I think it's a little Hollywoodish. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a $50 million quarterback, so you're a brand now. You're a brand. You know what I mean? You have all these sponsors and endorsements, and you have to live up to, how you getting paid or how they want you to be seen. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, and you make some good points there. It's hard to find where the leadership on the team is coming from now.
That's true.
And I think that in the past, we've seen players like Za'Darius. He was definitely a leader. He was very outspoken. Do you remember when he was pulled over for his teammates were smoking weed in the car? How he took the blame.
Took the blame,
So it seems like we're missing someone with that type of fire that had a real command of the team that probably translated to both the field and the locker room and off the field. What do you guys think?
I mean, just look at the attitude, with the Vikings defense now.
Yes.
They acting just like how we did when Zadarius was here. They running into the camera and doing all this crazy stuff in front of the camera, in front of the, when they celebrations. We used to do that. Now we don't even do that. We're not even doing that. We get an interception, we high five and go to the sideline.
Yeah. And I go ahead, Isles.
No, I was just going to agree. That was a great point about how Minnesota's defense does look a lot more like what we did last year than we do right now, And I feel like I feel like Rodgers is trying to be the leader of the team, and quite honestly, he's not doing that great of a job. It's almost like a parent who's trying to act like a parent, but doesn't have that natural ability to be able to control their kids. Right. I see that in like youth sports a lot and stuff like that. Somebody trying to be a natural leader. And then when you see a true leader, it's like kids will just flock to them because
they
it's
just
like
gravitate to it.
They got that natural deal, right? I feel like a Zadarius or, like we said, Charles Woodson, those kind of guys just have it, And I feel like aside from Rodgers, at least they give him an A for trying. But is he a natural leader? Maybe not. And who else is there? Like I can't. There's not like one name on the squad that pops to mind of like, that guy.
I mean, but if you look at all the teams across the league, a lot of the quarterbacks are not the leaders of the team.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a few. You might have your Patrick Mahomes, you might have your Josh Allen, but then it's who else? You're not really saying Geno Smith, the leader of the Seattle Seahawks. You're not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is the leader of the 49ers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes. I think Aaron is a late bloomer on the leadership growth as far as being a quarterback in the NFL. You know what I mean? His talent was the example. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. His talent spoke for him as a leader in the locker room. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, big superstar. He's a leader just based off of how well he plays the game. But when it comes to leading other people and galvanizing them to be a unit and work together, which I think will happen sometime in the near future, because you started seeing a little bit of it in the Bills game when they really started moving the ball down the field. You started seeing the offensive line be a little bit more aggressive. The running attack was a lot more aggressive, you know what I'm saying? And it takes a quarterback to get that out of the players when you in the moment, you know what I'm saying? So I think Aaron does. He has the leadership look, you know what I mean? He looks like a leader, but I just don't think it's registering how he would like to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward, you know what I'm saying? So.
Excellent points, and I think you brought up another great point, which is maybe we just need a little success soon, and that'll start to galvanize this team. But I thought it was an interesting subject to talk about simply because there just seems like a lack of leadership, or at least a strong presence.
I see what you see in TR.
Yeah.
I see what you see.
Yeah. So, you can lead by example, and that's great and everything, but just like being a rah-rah coach, it only goes so far.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So if I want to move on to a different topic that's kind of completely out of the blue, and this goes back to something that Big Nate was talking about, and recently, KH, you were talking about how you were starting to agree with him on this point. And this is that maybe the Packers would be better off if they had an owner rather than being an ownerless team, one of the only franchises in all of the world professional sports teams that actually doesn't have an owner. So I was curious to dig more into this and get your thoughts on that.
Well, I would say me agreeing with Big Nate, I was caught up in the moment. Obviously, without an owner, the Green Bay Packers have been successful for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, this infrastructure works. You know what I'm saying? But if we had an owner, who knows if the owner would make good decisions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think maybe what you were getting at, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that sometimes it'd be nice to be able to say, "Hey, the buck stops with this dude
Exactly.
or this lady."
Yeah, especially when you know the team has needs and they need to be addressed. Now, it would be nice to have an owner in a moment like this to make something happen. You know what I mean? Just to put the NFL on notice. Okay, we one of them teams that's trying to, still stay at the top of our game. You know what I mean? And just, when we have 47 board members that have to decide on every single thing, decide on what day the grass get cut. You know what I'm saying? It's just a never-ending battle of nay and yay. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, interestingly enough, I thought it'd be interesting to share with everyone that Isles and I grew up with a guy. He was my neighbor in my neighborhood. Shout out to Stuart Mills III, if you happen to be watching this. But his old man was actually a member of the Packers board.
wow.
So it was interesting. Yeah. So we dug a little bit into what that structure is. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about what this board does. I mean, in the past, I think you're right, Keish, that a lot of the decisions in the 80s and the 70s kind of got bogged down in the bureaucracy of having like this board, this big board. But when Bob Harlan came in, he basically split off football operations from any of that. So the football operations were run solely by the general manager. That was in their wheelhouse. Anything dealing with football was on that side of the house. And then you have the president, and then you have a smaller executive committee. And this executive committee makes decisions on all the finances stuff, marketing, NFL business, ins and outs of all that. And then the bigger committee is a group of usually local businessmen and women that have specific expertises in different areas. So it made me realize, like,
Massages.
damn, go ahead.
Massages.
Yeah, who's in charge? Who's in charge of the massages?
Yeah.
And who approved the ones for McCarthy that he was getting in his office?
He had 3 on him, working his hairy back.
Had a hairy back.
Yeah.
He had like 3 Asian women.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right. All right, keep going, Ram. I'm
2
sorry.
young men like massaging his feet.
Yeah.
Guy was a glutton for massages.
Oh, man.
And that's why McCarthy got the axe eventually.
Yeah. Big oily McCarthy coming into the locker room.
Sweaty.
Yeah.
Oiled up.
All
But
right,
anyway.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, it just was interesting to kind of review what that setup was like, because you start to realize that the Packers are a corporation. They are a freaking business, right? And there's tons involved in running a business, so much that the 3 of us together would never be able to figure out all the ins and outs of everything. So I think that it's important to just keep in mind that Mark Murphy and the general manager and Russ Ball, that triumvirate, as they call it, they are in charge of all the football operations. And although I think we all think there's much to be desired there, that I don't think there is a bigger bureaucratic board that bogs down all the decisions. So from that perspective, I think we should be able to point the finger at Brian Gutekunst and Mark Murphy. So since the trade deadline has come and gone, we're recording this on Monday evening, the Packers did not make a move. At least I'm not aware of a move. What are your thoughts on that, Gage?
We still have till Tuesday afternoon around.
It's Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Okay.
Around 3 o'clock Eastern time. And I
Okay.
think that's when the trade deadline is over.
Now I'm gonna get all red and embarrassed because I should have known that.
I mean,
I thought the deadline was today.
no, it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Because of Monday Night Football. It's the end
Oh.
of the football week, Monday night, so that's why they do it Tuesday.
That makes
I
perfect
mean,
sense.
even if we don't trade for a receiver that's still under their rookie contract, because I believe that's what we're trying to do, there's still some free agents out there that we could still go after. And you just look at the trades that the Packers were trying to make with Chase Claypool and DJ Moore. These guys start playing good next week once they seen their name in rumors. So, you start thinking about what the other teams are thinking. Should we let this guy go? If we're going to let him go, we might as well get as much as we can for him while we can. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of teams are looking at the Packers like, y'all don't look like y'all looked last year. So y'all might want to give us a second round pick because y'all might not be in the playoffs. And that pick could be very valuable. Like, oh, we took a second rounder and we gave him this guy and he didn't do nothing for him. And they stuck with his rookie contract. So it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about.
And we're certainly not in the market for any 6 month type rental. I think you're right. We want a player that will stick around for a few years at least.
Where do you think we are at right now, KH, with not even going through the trouble? Like, is the season almost over to you? Or is there how much life do you think we have left? How much of a window of chance do you think we have left?
If we lose to the Lions,
dude, we've been saying that the last 3 weeks.
If we lose to the Lions, then I would say I would officially say. I mean, but the Jets got a good coach who's been to a Super Bowl, lost. You know, a lot of these teams that beat us, they got good coaching now. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who really is taking control of the team and making them look like they're supposed to look. So. But if we lose to the Lions, oh my God! Then I will be worried. I'll be like, whew. Like I caught shout out to Higher Point of View. I caught his video. He said we really got like 2 more losses we can really accept at this point. And then after that is just like we gotta hope and wish and of these other teams that could get us in lose. You know what I mean? And you pretty much want to take care of business so you don't have to be worried about that. But man, if we lose to the Lions.
Which is a great segue. I want to go to our next topic, KH. Sharpening the knife.
They will call sharpening the knife. Now you get the penis out. You pull the skin. A lot of people, they never circumstances. So they have the skin.
KH, what do the Packers need to do to sharpen the knife and get a victory in Detroit this week? Where do I start?
I mean, first of all, we got to play a complete 4 quarters of football. That's one thing we do got to play. All 3 phases of football are going to have to be played to the best of, our ability of playing it, special teams, offense and defense. I think the defense will be okay. We just probably have to slow down a run game, but passing defense, I think we'll be fine. I think Jared Goff can throw us a couple of turnovers. Offensively, that's the thing, man. We cannot play down to competition. This defense is trash. The Dolphins defense give up the most points. You know what I'm saying? Anything less than 21 points from the Packers will be embarrassing to me against the Lions.
I would agree with that.
We have to put over 21 points against this team. This is a game where we should right the ship. You know what I mean? Despite who we have out there. Aaron Jones, just give him the ball. Aaron Rodgers, throw the check down. Stop trying to play. I could get these guys to, catch big plays downfield. Sometimes you got to do the little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to run the short game and like 1,000 cuts. You know what I mean? To win the game. Cuts. Just like they were doing against the Buffalo Bills, going on those long drives, controlling the clock. We controlled the clock.
Yeah. Too bad we were down 2 touchdowns when we started that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But you make a good point. It seems like they found something, right?
Right. I wasn't. I like I said in my video, I knew we was gonna lose that game. It's a road game. Then we keep hearing about these offensive linemen not playing 90 minutes before the game starts, and we got to shuffle the offensive line around again. But I think Zach Tom did a great job.
Okay.
The offensive line just got to do their job. If the offensive line can do their job against the Lions, I think we'll be all right. We'll be 4-5. I think we got a Thursday night game right after that, right? With the Tennessee Titans.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, we'll be on a short week.
What are you feeling about the defensive injuries that are like mounting up? Where Campbell kind of went off, and then Preston Smith looked like he kind of got injured towards the end of the game a little bit. Quay gets ejected, which is crazy. Campbell went off. So
with the knee injury. The main person I'm kind of concerned about is Rashawn Gary. He did not have that first step in that game against the Buffalo Bills at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know how bad the toe is affecting him. I mean, shout out to him for even coming off a concussion. So, shout out to him for going out there and gutting it out. You know what I mean? But with the linebacking core, now we thin at another position.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get Quay back, but how we gotta get? I guess we gotta go through the process of practice this week to see if Campbell is going to be limited all this week, or if he's going to be a DNP. Did not practice, so. You got to pay attention to that. And then just to hear that the backup guys that came in only had 6 games of experience.
I know. Yeah. We should just put Mason Crosby in at linebacker. It's not doing shit anyway. Throw him in there. It's a live body.
We might have to, Isles. We might end up having to. Yep. And that's a sure way to make sure he retires at the end of this year.
Exactly right.
So, Isles, what do you think about sharpening the knife? What do the Pack need to do, man?
Well, I think as long as they're healthy enough on defense, I do still think the problem or the thing to sharpen has got to be offense. I mean, it's the obvious thing. Like KH said, love to still see a full game. We've said it every damn week on sharpening the knife, and stick with the run. Stick with the run, even on a lot of times what happens in games, at least I feel, is like this momentum thing is the other team will like win the snap and they'll say, oh, we're going to kick it. And you get the ball and the crowd in an away game is like super loud, and you get the ball and you run it the first 2 times and don't get anything. And so then you try to pass, doesn't work. It's like a 3 and out. You get the ball back and then you maybe run once or twice again and don't get anything. And then you're like, screw it. We're going to pass the whole entire game now because clearly the running game's not going to work. You can't do that with as good as we are at running the ball. Aaron Jones was an absolute stud last night.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And they got to just pound it. Like you said last week, TR, is that you look at that game plan last year when the when the Patriots beat the Bills, and Belichick basically ran it the entire game aside from literally three plays. Remember that?
He ran the game with 3 different running backs the whole game.
That's what our game plan should have been last night. They couldn't stop our run. I thought our run blocking was producing mega holes too.
Yes, it was. Not aggressive. That's a great point you brought up. it seems like if the run doesn't work like Matt LaFleur wants it to, or Aaron Rodgers is seeing it being ran, they just lose confidence in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, let's just try to throw it and see if we could get something going, and then we'll come back to the run. No, sometimes you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it, man.
Yeah.
You just got to stick with it.
Yeah, and I think last night was perfect evidence of that because they were down. What were they down? 17-7? That game is kind of a blur. Put it this way.
To me too.
They were down a couple scores and they started to run the ball effectively and they almost got back into that game. So you could argue and say, okay, the Bills were maybe not playing. They're playing to take away any explosive passes, and they were kind of letting him run the ball. I don't give a shit. Jones was a star yesterday.
Yeah,
and that's just a perfect example of that. You just don't give up on the running game because it isn't working quite like you wanted to right now.
Right.
And Aaron gets into all these numbers games. He's like, well, there was a 38 shell with 5 guys in the box, and he'll spout off all this nonsense that only a player is going to know.
Yeah, somebody in the meeting room would know.
Yeah,
he's explaining that to the general public. They like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, it's like sometimes you gotta just play with your gut and instinct. It's a game, and you don't need to be so cerebral about it.
He's the only quarterback that does that.
Yeah.
I don't hear no other quarterbacks talking about no defensive coverages or anything like that or what he saw. They just go out there, we got to execute better. We got to play better. You know what I'm saying? We got to play up-tempo football. He going to the X's and O's and trying to be Mr. Elaborate and intelligent. Like, bro, you just lost.
Yeah, we got to be the only team in the NFL that's got a freaking nerd for the quarterback.
A nerd who is hip and takes ayahuasca, mushrooms, and
man.
But there's something to be said about just playing the game and playing the game with heart and passion, right? And he since he has carte blanche to do whatever he wants at the line of scrimmage, that sometimes can be a bit a detriment at times. So just for me to quickly talk about sharpening the knife, I think we got to sharpen up that offensive line. Part of it is we're dealing with injuries and constant shuffling. It just doesn't seem like we can count on Bakhtiari or Jenkins to be ready every week. We just don't know what's going to happen. So that type of offensive line shuffle is going to be difficult on a team, but we still got to sharpen that up and pass protect a little better. Let's give Rodgers a little more time. I think running the ball gives the linemen a good opportunity to just fire off the ball and gain some confidence with their blocking. So let's sharpen that up. I want the defense to sharpen up across the board. I did a video last week, Case, you talked about it, where I was looking back at the draft. In looking back at the draft, we see that there are 7 first-round fucking picks on this defense, and they still have trouble. So it seems like they're vastly talented in personnel, but they're not playing up to their talent. I know they're winning good enough to win ball games in most cases, but I think this defense had the potential to be a top 5 defense. So they are underachieving, and I'm not going to let them off the hook there. So any thoughts on that, on the defense, quick?
If you take away all of the penalties that the defense have been getting, nonsense penalties, you know what I'm saying? And of course, I heard the stat last night. They said the Packers are good on third down. That's because the teams don't have to necessarily get to a third down for us to be good on third down. They getting first downs on first and second with 2 running plays. You know what I mean? And then when we do get them in the third and long, the defense shows up or it's a penalty throw. So
they just seem inconsistent. Like you said, KH, earlier, they played like half of an excellent game yesterday. Like the second half, they balled out.
Yeah, they did, man.
You know, but the Bills made it look easy in the first half, right? Their offense. So let's get a full game going. Let's fucking
real.
knock someone in the mouth.
For real.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we're going to look forward to a better week this week. Hey, there's some good things that happened last night, but in the end, we just got a freaking win, right?
Yeah, it's all about the W.
Yeah. So, hey, KH, thanks so much for joining us. I want to
no
make
problem,
sure
man.
everyone knows that you got to get over to KH's channel and subscribe and engage with him. Like I say, the Pack Attack does great stuff, and if you're here watching this and not subscribed to them, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. So down below in the description will be links to all the Pack Attack with KH. KH, any last words before we wrap it up?
Shout out to the 500 subscribers.
Yeah, congrats on that.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that, but we just gonna keep moving forward and being a Packer fan for life.
That's
all right. I love it.
It never ends.
Never.
So thanks again, KH. Take care, everyone. Go Pack.
Go Pack.
Go Pack.